Hey guys, Verbal 95, recording live from your local county prison cell. Decided to record during the day. However, we are on about a week's worth of rain where I am, so we're trading in some polluted audio for the the natural lighting that you're getting today. So let me know if that was worthwhile. I was already out and I just didn't want to go out again later just to record the video, so I want to do it in my car. And yeah, but I am shocked I have not done this fight. I had to look back through my catalog and see that I had not done this fight yet, because this was again one of those fights that way early on I had written down and I just never did. And also, I am a little surprised how randomly I got in the mood to do this fight, because so I'll go reveal it now. It's Zim from Invader Zim versus Crypto from Destroy All Humans. The thumbnail / title might say Crypto versus Zim and not Zim versus Crypto, but whatever. And I've just randomly been on a big Invader Zim kick, and I can't really explain it. I just really got back into the aesthetic of Invader Zim. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about these two characters fighting each other. I did not play the Destroy All Human. Actually, no. Well, okay. I think I played Destroy All Humans, a level of it in, a Walmart. You know? I never played, the game itself. But, I never owned the game, I guess I should say. But I have seen Invader Zim, so that I do. I have some experience, but I'm not I did have to look a lot of stuff up. So, I don't know. Let's start with, I don't care what the thumbnail says. We're gonna start with Zim, right? So Zim is of the Urkin race. They are a race of, I guess they're invaders. They're not conquerors per se, but they're a race of invaders, right? Invaders. And the Urkins are a cybernetically enhanced race. They are. I did not realize there was this much lore to it either. They've actually perfected their cybernetics to the point where it's almost become. They've almost become dependent on it. See, when an Urkin is born, they are attached with something called a pack. A pack is it's like a cybernetic implant that serves a variety of functions that we can get into later. And that pack essentially holds all of the Urkins. It holds their memories, their personality, their intelligence. When Zim, however, received what is considered the most defective pack to have ever been produced, having, what did they say, 30 schmillion, that's their words, errors in it or something, and thus, Zim is fucking stupid. He's an idiot. He's absolutely just a moron. And but with his dreams of grandeur, he went on what was essentially a no-win mission just to get him off of the homeworld, to invade and conquer the Earth, or destroy it, or sometime his goals change. And that's where the show begins. So, as I said, that the pack is pretty much there's a dependency of the Urkins have to the cybernetic pack, right? That's not without upsides, because this pack also pretty much gives him access to all of his other technology and weapons. It holds these mechanical spider legs that are also multi-purpose. They not only allow for a mode of transport, they hold laser cutters, they hold ray guns in them. Um, they can turn into sort of like saws. Um, his pack also lets him, he becomes like a jetpack. He can fly. It's a communicator. Um, and like I said, it gives him access to all of his other weapons. He's had countless numbers of weapons and vehicles and technological modulations throughout the show. Things like he's been able to transport to other dimensions. He's been able to, I think he like restarted the universe at one point. He's done a lot of crazy stuff. But the downside does come with the dependency, where if an Urkin is removed from their pack, they can only survive for about 10 minutes. And if someone else were to attach their pack to themselves, no matter what their race is, apparently, they would be installed with the wearer's, intelligence and personality. Zim has stated that if a human were to wear his pack, they would go like insane, but in the comic adaptation, Dib wore his pack and actually took over the world with it. So maybe that was just like the 1 in a million times that somebody could do that. But yeah, I mean, I can't really go over like every weapon that Zim has ever used, but like, his house is essentially like an underground lair, and he built this like within hours because of this pack, right? And he's like I said, he's caused like time loops. Actually, speaking of time loops, he also has Gur, right, his sidekick, who is also highly malfunctioned, but other than that is a deadly killing machine. If he can actually focus, and Mini Moose, who is also super powerful, but is not really obedient to Zim at all, and Zim doesn't really know how to control. So yeah, but it has been stated multiple times throughout the series that Zim is completely capable of taking over or destroying the planet. Not just because most of the people on the planet are so completely stupid and oblivious to everything around them, and they all hate Dibs so much, or just don't care in the case of like Gaz, where that they're willing to just completely ignore every obvious sign to tell Dib that he has to shut up. But yeah, it's been stated that if he weren't such a moron, he's completely capable of taking over the planet. Yeah, so that's Zim. On to Crypto. I'm gonna forget a lot of names of stuff here. So Crypto is from a race known as the Furons, and I think his official name is like Cryptosipantha. He sounds like a plant. Yeah, and officially he is a clone. The Furons are a race that have reproduced asexually through cloning, which has led to their mass genetic decline, which is why they need to secretly infiltrate worlds and whatnot, right? And they chose Earth because millennia ago, ancient Furons came to Earth and bred with humans back before they could reproduce asexually and had genitalia. Apparently, they lost their genitalia in the process of learning how to or over the years of learning how to reproduce asexually. And because of that, most humans have some fragment of Furon DNA of complete Furon DNA and unique DNA in them. So usually in their brains. So aliens got to harvest the brains to get the Furon DNA to be able to reproduce and make new clones. So Crypto is a clone. He's actually a clone of, funny enough, there's been multiple different Cryptos in the game, but they've all, since they're literally clones and have the same memories and they all accomplish all of the same things, we can pretty much use them interchangeably. Crypto is not only one of the very, very few Furons who can reproduce non-asexually, but he's also kind of like, he's kind of out of his mind too. More so that he just likes blowing shit up and killing. More so than he likes following any mission or any sort of end goal. He just likes killing. And he's good at it because not only does being a Furon give him things like ESP, so he can levitate cars and even freeze time, though that actually costs. DNA is kind of used as an energy source and in game, and I guess technically I don't know how that would translate, but he can't do it indefinitely is what I'm trying to say. But he also has a shit ton of really, really terrifying weapons. He's got things like the Zap-O-Matic, which is basically just an electricity gun that shocks people to death. He's got an anal probe that, you think, okay, well, it's just a probe. That's what it is. But if he holds the charge, it actually drills through the person and rips out their brains. So that's a little more terrifying. He's got a disintegrator ray. He's got what is it called? Like an ion bomb or something that can actually damage himself. He's got the ability to call down meteors, but again, like, he's not immune to those, and he has to, be out of the range of its impact in order to not die from it. He's even got a gun that can generate black holes, except they're not technically black holes. They're more like a pocket dimension that closes after a section of time. And there's other niche things like the Venus human trap. It's a giant Venus fly trap. Apparently Venus was a like a garden planet before the Furons got to it, and the Venus human trap is like a Venus fly trap, but it eats people instead. Yeah, all these different types of things until you get to the spaceship, which I mean, ships would probably be included in this fight, I would think, because Zim's ship is, uses it all the time, and Crypto ship is a big weapon in the game, so, like, maybe they would use them. It's just, they're both capable of different things altogether, so and typically I don't like to let that determine a fight unless it is, like, a vehicle versus vehicle fight. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess that's script. I mean, he's accomplished a lot. He's had a cult made after him. He's convinced the world that he was the president. He's mass hypnotized the population. He ended the Cold War by beating the communists. These games are really fucking stupid. Anyway, but getting into the fight, who do I think is gonna win here? Well, I mean, both characters have pluses and minuses over each other, I think. Crypto's weapons are definitely more like aimed to kill. That's definite. One thing I forgot to mention about Zim, I just realized, is that not only does the pack hold all of his intelligence, it actually works as like a separate brain. It almost has its own consciousness. In fact, it has actually gotten Zim out of harm's way and acted independently while Zim was unconscious. So it has like a self-preservation mechanism built into it where if Zim's in danger, it would take the best route to survival. Also, I've never really seen this confirmed, but supposedly, like, there's a theory that it gives a healing factor because Zim has stated things like his spine was broken, but it'll heal in a few hours or whatever. But again, that kind of reminds me of like the Inuyasha healing factor, as I like to call it. Many people can attest to that. I call it that on this show. That like, yeah, it'll, you aren't gonna die from the injuries, but like you're not gonna heal from them during the fight, right? The healing happens, but it doesn't happen fast enough to affect the outcome of the fight, unless the fight were to last for days or something, I guess. But then you probably wouldn't. You would just get re-hurt. You wouldn't heal. But anyway, so I didn't. That's something to consider. But Zim, Zim could likely survive. I would think a mass amount, because Zim has gone through some other crazy shit too. He's survived like falling from orbit. I think he's been like dragged through the sun or some shit like that. So he could probably survive a lot of Crypto's weaponry. He is also weak to polluted water, apparently. Like, so, as I guess commentary, I don't know, but he can't go outside in the rain because it's like acid to him. But that shouldn't really affect the fight, honestly. Yeah, he might be able to survive like a majority of Crypto's weaponry, right? But Crypto's also just like, so here's the dilemma I have, right? Half of Crypto's more powerful weapons will also kill him if he isn't careful. And he's not careful. He's a fucking maniac who likes blowing things up. In fact, the reason the first clone died in the first game was he got drunk and flew his spaceship into a billboard and died. So he's not necessarily difficult to kill, but also he is just completely reckless and, will do something stupid and end up dying from it, because he technically has already. Zim's problem is not only is he just fucking, again, an idiot, but most of his weapons are incredibly powerful and I have no doubt, could kill Crypto, but they don't work. Like, they just don't do what they're supposed to do. Most of the time, rather. Gur is capable of, Gur has become a super weapon. Mini Moose has become a super weapon, but they don't do it consistently when Zim needs them to. Which means his only really reliable source of weaponry is the pack, right? Which again is also defective, but we've seen it work much more consistently than the other, than his like heavier hitting things like Gur and Mini Moose. Problem is, the pack by itself probably isn't enough to kill Crypto, I would think. So, and like, there is, yeah, like Zim has survived some like insane shit that Crypto can't really, measure up with just weaponry, but also a lot of Crypto's weaponry is just insane, like really out there, and it's really varied. And eventually something would kill Zim. Or at the very least, right, the black hole gun that's not really creating a black hole, but like opening up another dimension and then closing it, which reminds me of Millenniumon's attack in Digimon. At the very, that would likely be the equivalent. well, it doesn't like close the portal to that dimension. It like flattens the dimension. So it's the equivalent of being inside a black hole, right? So yeah, that would be the kill shot, I would think. If nothing else would kill him. Or at the very least, it would make him so that he would definitely not be able to recover or continue fighting. So, yeah, I think I gotta go with Crypto on this one. And again, it's weird because I've been on an Invader Zim kick. Funny enough, Zim's voice actor was actually the like tutorial person in Destroy All Humans, so that's pretty funny too. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Crypto. Anyway, do not take that last line out of context. Crypto from Destroy All Humans, I believe, will win this fight. Anyway, Rebel Engine 95. See ya.